Hey, Team Beautifully Polished. This is Debbie. It is Wednesday and it's time for our team training for today. I'm going to give people a minute to hop on. And it is the 3rd of July. So I know probably a lot of you are out doing water sports and having fun at the beach and whatever else you do for the 4th of July. So kudos to all of you who are enjoying your 4th of July experiences. Hey, Leslie. Hey, Brandy. Okay, I am going to get started and talk about fear today. This is a big word, and we all know about it, right? Every single person has fear of something in their lives. I don't know if anyone can avoid that. Just is what it is. Some of our fears are stronger than others. Some of them last longer than others. Some of them we are going to fight over our lifetime to overcome some of our fears. I have a fear of roller coasters. At this point in my life, I could care less that I have this fear. I don't ever need to ride a roller coaster again. I was just at Disney, and I don't care if I do Rock and Roller Coaster, Space Mountain. It doesn't bother me one bit. So I don't care if I overcome that fear. I'm past it. I didn't even care as a kid, really. So that fear, that's all right. I do have another fear. I have a fear of heights. Now, this fear can prevent me from doing things sometimes. I have to push myself through this fear. And ultimately, I know my fear of heights is probably really a fear of death, because that's why else would I be scared of heights? But sometimes I need to work very hard because I don't want that fear to get in the way of preventing me to do something. So, for example, we were in Germany a couple years ago, and we wanted to go to the top of a castle. And so I knew I needed to get up a spiral staircase to get up to the top of this castle. No big deal, you would think, but the spiral staircase had, it was one stair stacked on the other. So as I got higher, I could see the ground below me getting farther away. There was no cement in between the stairs. I literally, and if you don't have a fear of heights, you don't get it. My feet and my hands burn when I am at heights. I literally held onto the railing on this. It was inside I was going. I wasn't even outside. And I had to crawl up the stairs. I couldn't even walk. I mean, that's how strong my fear is of heights, as I could see the ground getting farther away. My husband, of course, we were laughing about it. I'm laughing as I'm doing it because I know it's so silly, but my body just naturally reacts that way. But I knew if I let my fear get away from myself, I would not be able to have the view that he had. And it was worth pushing me out of my comfort zone for the view I was going to have at the top of that castle. So I did not let it get in the way that day. The same year I was at the Grand Canyon, and I was at the edge, and I'm fine. I don't get too close. But my daughter wanted to go out on a glass bottom looking down into the canyon. I didn't need to push my fear that day. I know darn well I could not stand on a glass floor and look down at below me. So I was fine taking pictures from the side. So some days I push my limits on my fear. Other days I'm okay with having that fear, and I'm not going to push it. The biggest thing is the regrets we can have if we don't put ourselves out of that comfort zone. So these are, two fears that are very legitimate to me, but they're not really stopping me from leading my life. When we think of fears, we typically think of big things like that. But we can also have smaller fears that end up being, on a daily basis, ultimately can affect us bigger than a big fear. So I want you to think of your Color Street business. A lot of people avoid a job like ours and avoid a sales job because a lot of people have fear of sales jobs. You talk to people, oh, I couldn't do what you do. I'm not a good salesperson. I couldn't ask someone to buy something. I wouldn't be good at what you do. Why are they saying that? They're saying that out of fear of putting themselves out there. And that's very true. I mean, a lot of people have fear associated with the type of job we do because we have a very social job where you have to talk to people. Along with sales, or really many jobs, but I'm kind of talking sales and specifically, we can have fear of rejection. We can have fear of asking for the sale. We can have fear of talking to people, fear of failure, fear of that we're going to let other people down, a fear of getting up in front of a group of people at a party, a fear of even leaving your house to go do the party or to go talk to people. All of these are very real and very common fears that affect people on a daily basis in a job like ours. And I'm sure one of those things I just talked about could be a fear to you. So I want you to think about it. And is there some fear right now that is holding you back from your Color Street business? Is there something that's preventing you from getting the most out of your business that you possibly could get? You know, we all have fear, like I said, but fear can help you grow when you challenge it instead of letting that fear take over and control what you're doing. So let's say your fear is talking, just going up and talking to a random stranger, because I get it. That's a fear for a lot of us. And I've heard so many stylists say, oh my gosh, I just can't go out and talk to a person I don't know about it. And so I want you to think about it. And I want you to see how you could overcome that. So the first step might be texting, messaging, or emailing a person about our business. Ask them if they've tried it, just send them a sample. Once you start doing that, then it might be going out face to face with a person in public that you don't know and simply saying hi. Then you might move on to making conversation like, oh, I like your nail polish. Then you might work yourself into bringing up the idea of our polish or sharing what we have to offer, this amazing dry polish that, is saving the lives of so many women. So those are all small steps that you could take towards facing your fear. Sometimes even using a phrase, if you're not comfortable talking to a stranger, using a phrase like, I've been given a challenge, and you can all, even if you're acting nervous, it's okay. I've been given a challenge. I have to try to talk to 10 people this week about my business. I was wondering if you would be willing to be one of them. Sometimes when we put it on somebody else, it's easier to accept it, and it's easier than just walking up and making a conversation. If you're saying someone else is telling you to do that, it may help you get out of that comfort zone and get over that fear of talking to the person because somebody has asked you to do it. So it takes the pressure off you because you're just doing what you were supposed to and following the directions you were given. So try that approach if that helps you make a conversation with somebody else. And then, I have to put a sample on somebody showing this amazing dry nail polish. Would you be willing to let me put it on you? Then when you're done, thank you so much. Can I get a picture of your hands or whatever? Can I get a picture? And that way I can mark it off my list of 10. And you can even have a little note card with you. Now I can punch you and take you off my list of 10 people that I need to talk to this week. Or maybe it's going to be, I would love to get your email address. So, I have proof that you were one of my 10 people. And now you got their information back. That is a big fear too for a lot of people. Some people don't have a problem putting the nails on somebody, but it's asking for their information back is a big fear for a lot of people because they're worried they're, gonna bug somebody by asking them that. I personally find with I have the shuffle card, I kind of put it on myself and just say, oh my gosh, I'm super cool and super hip. I have this, I have a virtual business card I would love to share with you. Can I get your phone number and I'll text it to you? And that way I can send you some information. That way, again, I make a joke about myself because I'm not super technically savvy. So that's been my approach that takes the pressure off me, that makes me feel comfortable. So when you're trying to overcome those fears, if you find a way like a joke or, someone's challenged me to do this, sometimes it makes that fear kind of subsides that fear for you a little bit and takes the pressure off yourself. So a lot of this, you guys, it's a mental game. Don't let the fear of not talking to somebody or not asking for their information or not asking somebody for a nail bot. They're all very real fears. But the first thing you need to do is face that fear, right? You need to acknowledge your fear, that it is a fear. And instead of handling it like, oh my gosh, I'm such a wuss, I can't believe I feel this way, so stupid that I feel this way, it's really not stupid. We all have fears like this, so you need to give yourself some compassion and understand that it's totally normal to have a fear. Once you've acknowledged it with yourself, now it's, okay, I know I have this fear, but what am I going to do to make it better? How am I going to take control of this fear so this fear doesn't ruin me? We've all heard the expressions like, get out of your box, get out of your comfort zone. What other ones are there? Get out of your own head, all those expressions. And all those are getting over your own fear. And it doesn't mean that fear is going to go away. You may talk to 3 strangers this week because that's your biggest fear. That fear is not disappearing, but what it might do is get that comfort zone circle of yours. You get out of your comfort zone, and it might make that comfort zone a little bit bigger the first time you do it, and then a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger. So you're widening exactly how much, how, I guess that would kind of be the opposite. If I'm in my comfort zone, I'm taking it, I'm jumping out, and then I'm jumping out further and further and further. And pretty soon that circle gets bigger and bigger. And that fear may always be with you. You may always have that tinge of nervousness, but that's okay as long as you have learned that you're not going to let it overcome you, and you are going to get out of your comfort zone and take care of it and take care of what you need to take care of for the day. So are you the person that's just going to rip the Band-Aid off and say, you know what? I'm scared to go and strip a stranger, but I'm doing it today. I'm not coming home until I put a sample on somebody for today. Or are you the person who needs to take the baby steps, like I talked about earlier? Maybe it starts with texting someone, then it might start with a face-to-face hi and progressing into putting nails on somebody. Either way is fine. Either way, you're challenging yourself and you're facing your fear, so you are not letting your fear run your life, and you are pushing yourself out of that comfort zone. I love the quote that everything you ever wanted is on the other side of fear, which is so true. There's so many things that get in our way with our business or any other things in life because we're nervous about it, right? So once you've acknowledged that fear and told yourself, you know what, it's a true fear, but I'm taking control. That's where you're going to start pushing your limits, and that's where it becomes fun and exciting. I don't know, most people who push themselves out of their comfort zone come back feeling pretty good about themselves. I have a lot of fears too. I'm nervous each time I walk into a nail bar. Just, as far as what can I expect? What if they don't like me? What if I goof something up? What if I don't book a nail bar? What if they think I'm a fool? I've been to somewhere they just stare at you and give you dirty looks. And at the time, it kind of bugs you. But the feeling I get every time I leave a nail bar, like, yes, I did another one. Yes, that feels so good. Yes, I made this connection. I like that feeling better than I do. That feeling to me is worth going to the next nail bar because I get such a good feeling of accomplishment when I'm done, and such a good feeling of I did it. You know what? That lady gave me a dirty look, but oh well, I made a connection with this lady over here. Each time I talk, like a couple of years ago at conference, when we first started, I had to lead one of the breakout sessions. I was scared to death to lead a session in front of all my peers and all the other stylists. And I did it. My kneecaps, were shaking up and down. So last year when I was asked, I was far less nervous. But was I nervous? Absolutely. But the feeling I get when I finish that talk and being on cloud 9, and I've learned that I get such almost a surge of confidence and like a rush from doing it, that I would rather have that feeling after and the confidence that I gain from that than have the fear, than that pit in your stomach, than that shaky knees. I would rather have all that leading up to the event, because the feeling I get after. And that's what I've learned is all that scared feeling, the upset stomach, the whatever else is worth the feeling over here at the end, because it feels so good at the end. The feeling you get when you don't do something that you're so nervous about, oh my gosh, every time you do something like that and get yourself out of that comfort zone and push yourself, the feeling and the confidence you get keeps building you up a notch. There is nothing like that. And the fact that you are the only person who can decide that, to make yourself grow like that, it is such a good feeling. Eleanor Roosevelt had a great quote: "You gain strength, courage, and confidence by each experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. You're able to say to yourself, I have lived through this horror. I can take the next thing that comes along. You must do the thing you think you cannot do." So all the things with our business that you think you cannot do, the feeling you get after you do it is irreplaceable, you guys. There is just nothing else like it. So today I want to challenge you guys. I want to challenge you to sit down and look at your business. Where does your biggest fear, or write down all your fears with the business. I said some of them earlier. Is it fear of failure? Is it fear of letting your family down? Is it fear of letting your upline down? Is it fear of letting your downline down? Is it talking to people? Is it fear of not getting a sale, fear of people thinking you're funny, fear of people thinking you're weird, fear. I mean, there's so many things that can be associated with people with a job like ours where you're constantly putting yourself in front of new people all the time. We are putting ourselves, exposing ourselves, and allowing people to see our vulnerable side. Maybe it's fear of doing your first live. Maybe it's fear of asking someone to be in your VIP group. Hopefully I'm not adding a bunch of fears to you that you didn't have before. Or maybe you didn't even realize, wow, I don't do lives because I am scared. I am scared to do them. There's a lot of people. I don't love lives. I don't mind these anymore of training with you guys, but public lives on my personal Facebook group or Facebook page, I do have a fear. I have a fear that my friends will think I'm weird. I have a fear that they'll block me because they think I'm funny. I have a fear that maybe they'll unfriend me. I have a fear they'll be talking behind my back because I'm going live. I have a fear that they'll think this is stupid. So that is a big, I don't have the fear of doing it on my business page, which is weird because that's public too. But in my own head, that's my own personal space. So my fear isn't there. My fear is not in groups I'm in, but it's just that personal page. I have a bigger fear. So I went out of my comfort zone over the weekend and I went live twice. I didn't show my face, but I went live at what I was doing. So we all have fears like that. So think about the fears you have. So now I'm going to have to do a live in my personal page because I'm challenging you guys to find a fear and pick one or two of them for this week and face that fear as many times as you're willing to try it. After each time you do it, I want you to sit back and evaluate yourself. Okay, how did I feel when I was done with that? Did I feel better about myself? Did I feel a sense of accomplishment? Is there something I would have done different? If I did it this way, would I have felt better about it? And I want you to do it again and see how you feel that time. And then a third time, as many times as you are willing to push yourself. And at the end of the week, evaluate where you are with as many times as you push yourself out of your comfort zone and push past that fear. In the end, how did you feel? And was the feeling at the end after you did it more worth, was it worthwhile enough to push through the nervousness, the stomach ache, the butterflies, I can't do this, okay, I just have to do this. Was it worth it in the end to have that feeling of knowing that you did something all on your own and you push yourself past your fear? Because that is a gift that you can give yourself. You know, fear has two meanings. So think about the letters F-E-A-R. Forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. So this week, I challenge you to face everything and rise above your fears and see what you can do with your business and what you can do to get out of your comfort zone this week. All right, you guys, happy 4th of July. If you have a fear of fireworks, well, get out there or maybe hide in your basement like my dog's going to have to do. So have a great 4th, everybody. Get past some fears. And then I'd love to see posts or, you know, in the comments underneath this live of what you have done to face your fear. And I will challenge myself to go live in my Facebook group this week. There's mine. See, I put it out there. Once you put it out there, it's forever. All right. So I will do it. Have a great day, everybody.